This is the first of 5 Commander deck videos I'll be making pretty much in a row, so let's get into it. In this video I'll be going over Abzan Armor. It is a Commander deck from the newest set, or new set depending on when this is out. There's so much to record that I can't even keep up with it. When it comes to this video, I'll be going over the Commander, the Sub-Commander, the best parts of the deck, and then giving my thoughts and opinions on it. But before I go into all of that, a word from my sponsor, which is me, my small little Etsy shop where I make t-shirts and hoodies with multiple colours, sizes and designs for people to enjoy. When it comes to this, it helps out the channel, but if you also like to help out the channel and like what I do, please go watch more of my videos, like them, share them to a friend, share them to an enemy if you don't like me but want to annoy them. This will help a lot. So in this deck, Abzan Armor, the commander of the deck is Felothar the Steadfast. For 1 white, black and a green, you get a legendary creature, human warrior that is a mythic. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have defend. And then for 3 and tap it, sacrifice another creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness, then discard cards equal to its power, and is a 0/5. So what I'm getting from this is you play big creatures with low toughness that have flash and haste and go crazy. No, wrong commander. So in this, it is you play very buff boys that attack puny, but now can do a lot of damage. And now they can attack with defender. When it comes to defender, it's not really a keyword I often see or use. Maybe 1 in every 8 to 12 decks I've seen it in. It's not really a powerful ability, but it's really cool when a defender deck comes out of the works. Plus the ability to draw cards and discard, especially in these colours, is really good because there is a lot of graveyard recursion and cards that you're able to play from your graveyard, and maybe milling yourself will help a bit. So I see this deck going very powerful in many different ways. Again, great graveyard recursion, great ways to get lands, and then defender to make sure that you don't get hit, plus then big buff boys. But if that doesn't tickle your fancy, there is a sub-commander, and the sub-commander of this deck is Beatroy Ancestor's Voice. For 2 white, black and a green, you get a legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, that is a mythic. Has flying and lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, put a number of 1/1 counters on up to 1 other target creature you control equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. Return up to 1 target creature card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield. So when it comes to this, I'm actually making a commander deck with the other Betroth from the set, and to be honest, looking at this, I actually think it'll be a good card to put in that deck as well. It's a weird deck I've made if you want to see it in my mox field, and I might make a deck tech on it if people are interested. But this commander is quite good in my opinion. Again, it has lifelink, so you're able to boost your life. Probably creatures with lifelink in there, or ways to get life, which again, really good. And then if someone does large amounts of damage to you, you're able to then play big creatures or big toughness creatures, which the deck will have due to the commander. So I do think this is a good sub-commander. I do think it's better than 99 unless you change the deck fully, because I think there's going to be a hard focus more on the commander than there is going to be this guy. So let's dive into the deck itself, starting off with creatures. When it comes to this, there is a total of 41 creatures, which is a lot, but you get creatures such like Protector of the Wastes, Ardor Abhorrent, Canopy Gargant, Rampart Architect, Tree of Redemption, Ikushitiki the Usurper, Balden Sentry Herdmaster, Immobilized Ancients, Shalai Voice of Plenty, Wakestone Gargoyle, Wall of Revenants, Welcoming Vampire, Zepelta Primal Dawn, Arasta the Endless Web, Hornet Nest, Seaborn Muse, Sivana Cryptid, Towering Titan, Dragonlord Dracoma, Faber Elder, Squadrits Silverquill, Sidar Kongor of Jumara, and Weather Centrals. So first, as a dyslexic person, most of those words are going to be probably butchered, and I apologize in advance. 2, there's a lot of known creatures that I really like. I'm kind of happy that there's the Strixhaven dragons as well. There's only 2 I think from the top of my head, and I really do like because Strixhaven is one of my favorite sets. Again, I highly assumed there's going to be a lot of walls, a little bit of life gain. I do like a good chunk of this deck when it comes to creatures itself. I do think already straight off the bat, without looking at the rest of the deck, that again it's going to be a very creature heavy deck and it's going to be a very powerful one. So let's go right onto spells. When it comes to spells, there's 11 in total, but I do think the sorceries are already going to be better than the instances. But if you know none of the spells in this deck, you get spells just like Reunion of the House, Tip the Scales, Will of the Abzan, Expel the Interlopers, Anguish Unmaking. So a lot of complaints I usually have when it comes to commander decks that a lot of people actually give out about, but not hugely, is the fact that like Swords of Plowshare or the other one is always in a deck with a white pip. There's a handful of cards when it comes to this that if there's a slight hint that it can go in, it's in the deck, and I do think that's fine because usually they are very powerful cards or very well-known cards. My biggest problem is that it's always in the decks. If it's one every like second or third or fifth set, then fine. But the fact that it's in every single one is a bit meh. Second complaint is that the instances are not the best in my opinion. There's a good few sorceries, but again, there's always usually a weaker part of the deck, but again, that's with every deck. So I do think the artifacts and the instances are going to be where it's weaker, and then the lands are always going to be meh to bad. So let's go on to the next one, being enchantments. When it comes to enchantments, there is 3 in total, but only 2 I want to mention, and they are Jaws of Defeat, Assault Formation. Again, not the biggest or most powerful cards. I do think they somewhat suit the deck. I do think they're quite good. I do think enchantments are usually kind of the harder thing to put in when it comes to precons, because they're either really good, really powerful, and really expensive, because enchantments are usually the hardest thing to get rid of, or they're meh, okay kind of cards. So I do think that it's hard to balance in fairness to the people that make these decks. But I do think this is a good selection. I'll probably give it a 6 or a 7 when it comes to picking the enchantments for a deck. Now let's go into artifacts of this deck. There is 7 in total, but 4 of them are mana rocks. So you get other good artifacts just like Kolfener's Urn and Staff of Completion. Not gonna lie, seeing the staff in here was not a weird thing, but I was kind of shocked that it was in here. It's nothing powerful, it's nothing amazing, but I do think that this card is the hardest carry when it comes to the artifacts other than the mana rocks. But I do think it is a good card for this deck, mainly because it's very versatile. If you play the commander, this is quite good. If you play the sub commander, this is quite good. I do think this is a good card to put in this deck. And then finally the lands. When it comes to this deck, there's 38 in total, but you get lands just like Canopy Vista, Fortified Village, Isolated Chapel, Overgrown Farmland, Sunpetal Grove, Twilight Mire, and One Land Cemetery. Lands are kind of becoming the easiest thing to kind of go, they're going to put Scry lands, they're going to put this, like they're the easiest to kind of say they're going to be in all the decks. I do like that recently, the last year or two, they've been putting in the filter lands. I do think filter lands are, in my opinion, one of the best lands when it comes to organising and filling the deck. But I do think in a 3 or 4 colour deck, you need to have at least 2. But that's just me. If it was a dual colour deck and they just had 1, I would have been perfectly happy with it. But I think with it being a 3 colour deck, I know they have the black green one, but I think having like a white black one or a white green one would have been also a good card to put in as well. But now my overall thoughts on this deck as a whole. I like the commander. I really like the sub commander. If I was going to build this, I'd be going more of the sub commander way. There's a lot of cards in here that I do like, and a lot of cards here that I haven't seen in previous decks, so I do like that. Mainly the creatures is the best part in my opinion. Again, the rest of the deck is okay-ish, nothing absolutely amazing. So overall, I will give this deck probably a 7.2. But as always, I would like to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, what you thought of this deck, if there's any cards you would put in, or if you're building it in your own little way, let me know in the comments down below. While you're there, remember to like and subscribe and do all that YouTube stuff we always ask for. And as always, if you like this one, I've got 4 more decks to go through, so you've got something to be excited for. But I've got previous Magic the Gathering videos here, a playlist of all the Magic the Gathering videos I do and make here, and a subscribe button here, and I shall see you all in the next video.